Hi folks, you're with Tacitus Today. Tacitus Today, your pushback channel, and thank you for joining this audio, radio, no pictures live stream. In this essay, I'd like to talk about the illegal alien sort of mass migration to Europe, but in particular about the very generous welfare and benefits that are provided in countries like Sweden and Germany and elsewhere, and how those are a huge magnet to people coming from the third world. And how no wonder they're flocking to Europe when there's so many freebies and handouts that are being offered, and there's no responsibility or obligations required in return. So let's have a look at some of that and see where it's going to go. I would think it's unsustainable. That much money. There's 80. This is a family of 4, and they're being given over $80,000 a year from and I think in this instance it's German. It could be Austrian, but I think it's German. The German taxpayer. So now it's not clear whether they were also being given accommodation for free, plus free food vouchers and things like that. So that's not clear, but just going through, they're given $3,000 a month cash in hand. So, and on top of that, they're being given other things, but it was a little bit vague again whether the accommodation was extra. I think it must have been, but so they're given free medical and dental. I don't get free dental. They get free public transport. I don't get free public transport. They're given free language classes, which doesn't seem to be working very well, because in spite of being for more than a year, in fact close to 2 years, in Germany or in a German-speaking place. Again, I think it's Germany. In spite of being 2 years in it, they don't speak a word of German or appear not to, and the children speak patchy German. Even though 2 years is easily enough for a child to learn another language reasonably well. The children are going to school in a German school, and supposedly are also attending German language classes, and they still can't fucking speak German after 2 years. My reading of this, if you sort of dissect the information in certainly with this documentary, is that these people are actually being paid to send their children to Islamic schools in Germany, and with lessons and classes being conducted in Arabic, which is why the children don't see a need and can't be bothered, and why the parents don't see a need to actually learn German. Which is a real problem for assimilation and integration. But for some reason, that's being subsidized. They're being paid to send their children to Islamic schools, which seems astonishingly, it seems like an act of idiocy. Now they're being offered rental assistance, but it was vague as whether that was they were being given a place to live, or they were being given money to pay rent in the private sector, which was in addition to the $3,000 cash they're getting a month. Now, if you look at this as say, taxable income, so if you look at the money they would have left over to consume all these goods and services after they paid income tax, assuming they're working at a job, which they're not, this would be an income of something like $130,000 a year. Now, not many people are really making that sort of money, so they're getting well above the average, and they're getting far more than an average wage earner in anywhere would get. So why should they be? They're illegal. They shouldn't even be there in the first place. They've got a very sort of, I don't know. I would be in danger if we went back. I don't believe that. Most of these people go on vacations every year back to their country of origin, where they can skite and boast about, hey, I went to Whitey's country and I made it. So here's a lot of money being spent. Just over $80,000 cash a year or cash and in kind being given to these people, and I don't understand why. Now, I suppose if there were serious obligations, you've got 12 months to, or a time limit. You've got your children have to learn German. You can't be running around, dressed in Arabic clothes. That's out. You now come to the West. You have to live, a life that and integrate into the Western life. You must do that, and your children must learn German. They must be proficient in German to the the average standard of high school, or well, I think they'd be in junior school, but junior school children, you have to learn German. You can get free night classes. You can attend night classes every day if you want, or language classes every day if you want, but you must be proficient in German by this time and that time. We will test you. The test will be rigorous, that sort of stuff. And you must be able to explain our laws, how the courts work, and so you cannot be subject to Sharia law. You cannot walk around in burqas and whatever else. You have to fit in and integrate. You have to show, if we're going to give you this much largess, which is substantial, no one's giving me $80,000 US a year for nothing, for nothing in return. Most people, if they work 60 hours a week, aren't making that sort of money. So these people have got no obligations. So you must get a job, you must do this, even if the job is community service, beautifying I don't know, public spaces or something like that, then that would be but these people are required to give nothing in return. There is no obligation to do anything of any sort, and yet they're receiving this sort of largesse. Now, there are many tens, if not hundreds of thousands, of receiving that sort of largesse, and I don't know why. I can't see what benefit is to them. They're given an artificial life that bears no resemblance to any reality in the real world, and the taxpayer is funding it without the consent. The taxpayers haven't even consented to this bullshit. The German taxpayer, for example. And they're paying these people very, very generously to do nothing and to make no commitment, to have no obligation, to not integrate, to with much determination continue their third world peasant Islamic lifestyle at the expense of another country's taxpayer. I mean, it's just insane. But this is what's going on, and I can't see what benefit is to anybody. Though I don't see there's any benefit to anybody. Any party is benefiting. With the Germans certainly are not benefiting. The taxpayers being ripped off horribly, royally screwed over. This family isn't really benefiting. They're still keeping their third world attitudes, habits, and lifestyles at someone else's expense. And I can't see how that's benefit. If they're so determined to hang on to these things, why don't they go back to Afghanistan or go to another Islamic country where these sort of lifestyles and attitudes and views and practices, religious practices, are standard fare for day-to-day existence? Why don't they do that? But instead, no, they say, no, you Western country, you have to change all your ways to suit us. I mean, this is absurd. But yet here it is, and it's going on. But I was staggered at the amount of money that's being paid here, and that so much money is being paid across to these people without any requirements for any sort of obligation in return. You've been with Tacitus today at your Pushback channel, and thank you for listening.